Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Cass with College of Lore.
I am the Penitent with College of Lore.
Good morning everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning. Where it is cold as hell in our campus this morning.
In our apartment where we make our videos.
So why not warm up with some hot takes?
Yeah, we're gonna have the hottest takes for you guys today.
And you can warm up on this chilly December almost morning.
Yeah, it's almost December.
But it is almost Christmas.
If you celebrate Christmas, that's very exciting.
Well, it's
the
yeah.
holiday season, which is exciting for most people.
And as a Christmas gift to us, why not subscribe?
Subscribe to our channel.
We're trying to get to 100 by the end of the year, which is looking more and more attainable every single day.
Yes.
Um,
Maybe 150 if you guys are really nice to us.
yeah.
Subscribe to our channel. If you like our hot takes, you should subscribe to our channel. I meant to say like this video, but if you like our hot takes, you should subscribe to our channel. You should like this video, and you should comment with your own D&D hot takes.
Yeah, comment your own hot takes. Agree, disagree with us.
Be nice to me.
These are a lot D&D centric. They're not entirely D&D related.
But most of them are.
If you don't agree with us, we're just having a little fun. This isn't meant to be taken super seriously.
You're allowed to have differing opinions on basically all of these.
Yeah.
These are just our preferences.
There's nothing wrong with you if you disagree with literally everything I said. Just be respectful to each other and to us in the comments, ideally. Yeah. Because this is just a little bit of fun.
Just having a good old time.
Anyway, should we get into it?
You have to talk about our Patreon.
Yes. Check out our Patreon. You can join our Discord where we talk about things. You can vote in polls on our video topics we do. You can see some of our videos early when we get that set up, which we don't have set up right now because we don't have enough patrons to justify it.
Because Patreon sucks so much and they won't let me post videos early anyway.
Thank you to Remy Sweet and of Winter, our patrons.
Our patrons. Alright, let's talk about hottest takes. Hottest takes ever. Warm. I'm cold.
So, I wrote these, so if
Warm
you came at me, so if you come at someone, come at me.
Yeah, I just agree with all of them.
Hot take number 1, you do not need to play several systems.
Yeah. I mean, I think the point of all of these is, like... Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. I don't think you need to play several systems. I also don't think you're wrong for playing several systems. I think that's the first thing that I want to say, is, like, if you are the kind of person who really likes learning TTRPG systems, go ahead. But I don't think you need to have fun.
No, and, like, I make this point as someone who is the type of person who likes playing multiple RPG systems.
You love several different systems with several different mechanics, and I don't. And that's fine. I mean, I would run basically everything in 5e, or like a base D20 system given the opportunity.
I review a different RPG game every single week.
And you know about, like, basically all of them.
Yes, and so far, like, of the, like, 7, 8, whatever we've done of them, about one of them sounds like something you seriously want to... 2 of them sound like something you seriously want to invest your time into.
I would consider them, yeah.
And one of them is for my sake entirely.
Yes, because you like Burning Wheel so much.
Again, this is someone whose favorite game is not 5e.
Yeah.
Who loves playing other RPGs. I think there's a lot of elitism in the RPG, like, community about knowing how to play, knowing how to run several different systems, and I think, honestly, that, like...
That's cool if you can do it, but you don't need to enjoy TTRPGs as a whole.
Yeah.
You can just play 5e or whatever other system you like, and you don't need to do anything else. If you don't want to.
Yeah, and I think I would encourage you to branch out and try other systems, but I don't think that it is necessary or that you're bad for not.
Yeah. Rolling for stats is the most fun way to determine stats. I want to say, not the most statistically accurate. Not the best on average.
Yeah.
It averages out fine.
So, whether this be 4d6 drop lowest, 4d6 drop lowest reroll ones, even 3d6 assigned. The way I rolled in high school was we got to roll 3 sets of 3d6 and pick one.
Yeah.
The way we roll now is mostly 4d6 drop lowest reroll ones just for fun. Although for our actual plays, we try to...
We just rolled 4d6 straight for those, right?
Yes.
Drop lowest,
The other systems that are common being point buy and standard array.
Yeah. I don't enjoy the standardization. I think it's more fun if you get a really exciting 18. And I also think it's really fun if you get, like, a 6. Or a 3 if you're not rerolling ones.
Bad stats aren't...
I mean, they're not good, but that's kind of fun sometimes, depending on where you put them.
I mean, we joke a lot about the natural 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. That someone would roll frequently who had they would roll a natural 19 on Dex like 3 or 4 on initiative like 3 or 4 times.
In like a session.
Because sometimes. They had -1 Dex.
Yeah, they had -1 Dex, so and it was funny, because she rolled a lot of nat 20s. They were just actually natural 19s.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
The natural 0 as well.
Yeah, the natural 0 as well. When you have a negative modifier, you could get a natural negative number, which would be kind of fun.
Yes. And I know it's a natural... Yeah, whatever. The thing about it is, I think point buy and standard array are fine, and if you use point buy and standard array, more power to you.
But it's the most fun if you roll for them. And I am obsessed with RNG. I love rolling things. I love rolling numbers. Yeah. I love random stuff.
And people are like, oh, it creates a party imbalance. I don't care if I'm like significantly weaker or stronger than the rest of my party. I don't know about other people. But I don't care if my character is like way weaker or way stronger.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
Like, it's not something I've been concerned about, and I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to feel like I'm less useful. But given how maybe it's just how roleplay-oriented our games are, I don't really ever feel like that.
Yeah, I don't either. Tell me about the next one.
So the next hot take we have, is that Milestone XP is fundamentally the best and most fair way to distribute XP in 5e.
It is. In fairness, battle experience is fine if you're giving it to everyone equally. Like, if everyone who participates in the battle is getting the experience, but also even that still leaves room for, if someone's not in a scene, for them to lose out on levels.
Yes. As opposed to battle experience, I might say encounter experience, because a lot of times, a lot of old school GMs, unfortunately, will be like, I only give experience points if you kill the thing, not if you find a way to circumvent the combat.
Yeah.
Which I think is dumb and painful.
Yes. I think that's annoying. And that wouldn't work in a lot of our games, because a lot of our games are about circumventing combat and not killing something outright.
I mean...
Like, how many times in the actual play have you guys fought Strahd?
And lost.
And lost. Objectively. And badly. And you wouldn't be leveling up if that were how that kept going.
If we did combat XP, if we did even encounter XP,
yeah,
because we don't do random encounters...
It would suck a lot.
We wouldn't have
You guys wouldn't get anywhere. Yeah.
I think Milestone is the most... It's easiest on the players, it's easiest on the GM, in my opinion.
It doesn't have to be like, oh, you only get experience when you level up. You can keep track of it other ways. But, like, I don't really track experience unless I'm telling someone, okay, that was enough stuff in that time frame that I think you would level up here.
As someone who's been doing this hobby for over a decade, I've never found any system where people can level up unfairly or at different times, unevenly, to be worth its salt. I think it's a horrible
I just don't think it's balanced. I mean, if you're concerned about party balance, that would be the worst way to go about that.
People are like, oh, I've made this chart to make it, like, hardest for, like, wizards and sorcerers to level up and easiest for marshals to level up, and I'm like...
Why?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Why would you do that?
It's like they made, like, a fucking... a Pokemon. Like slow XP versus fast...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It's like wizards or Magikarp.
Yeah, I guess. Which doesn't make any sense, but go off. Alignment is dumb.
It is.
At a baseline, alignment is dumb, and I'm saying that at kind of a very base level, yeah. I think alignment is fine as a very baseline kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe dumb is the wrong word, and reductionist is more a word I'm looking for. To try to fit all of, like, mortal... To
try to fit someone's existence into one of 9 categories does not work.
Yeah. to fit all the human moral... Yeah, thank you. All mortal morality into one of 9 boxes is...
That's not going to work.
And I think virtually everyone would exist in some sort of gray area between
something.
Yeah. And
I think you can be basically anything on the alignment chart at a base level, but everything has a price. Everyone is one bad day away from being a terrible person and a few good days away from being much better.
And I think that an evil person can do a good act without fundamentally changing, and a good person can do an evil act without fundamentally changing, based on circumstances. And I think that punishing people or, like, alignment hitting them...
I don't think it's productive to roleplay. And if you like roleplay, it's just a bad thing to do. You shouldn't 100% enforce that a neutral good character can never do anything bad or harmful. Like, that's not helpful if there's a scenario where realistically a good person would do something bad in order to protect a loved one or anything else, really.
Asking a player to change their alignment based on actions is... There are certain circumstances for it.
Yeah, but the vast, vast majority of the time it is not warranted.
And also, 90% of the time, I don't write alignments on my character at all.
I don't even bother. I know what my characters are like, and I don't even bother.
Yes. I think about how it has happened in Critical Role once, though. Alignment changes.
Yeah.
Asked for by the DM, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's fun.
Anyway.
Marshals and casters are balanced, actually.
Yes. That one is going to be a very, very hot take.
That's a super hot take. And it probably depends on your encounter style. In our playstyle, that is 100% true. In our playstyle, where we're having, like, one huge combat every few sessions, like, we don't even have an encounter a session, like, 99% of the time. We have one massive fight every few sessions, and if you're fighting once every few days, or even once every day, it balances out pretty well if you're having one big fight.
You can balance it out by either having very few encounters or a lot of encounters.
Yeah.
Because, like,
it also depends on the type of encounter, whether you're doing stuff that has a lot of AoE. I mean, if you're having a ton of monsters that are all AoE, that, like, you need AoE to not, like, get overwhelmed by them, casters are better, and most people argue that marshals are better most of the time, right? Or marshals are worse?
Marshals are worse, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, if you have a situation where you have a bunch of enemies that need AoE, casters are going to be better. But if you have one big thing that needs to just get hit over and over and over again, marshals actually are probably better for overall damage output because they can hit so many times. And if you're focusing on one big target, marshals are probably generally better.
Yeah, I think they're good at different things.
Yeah, they're good at different things, and in fairness, when we run big encounters, we usually run something that is one big thing and maybe some backup.
And I think maybe there's balance issues if you're power gaming.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if you're really trying to make, like...
you can make, like, a coffee lock, or whatever, and that's gonna be pretty good, at least until you start taking levels of exhaustion.
Even still, you can make, like, the most busted wizard build possible.
Yeah.
Where you take all of these, like, hyper-powerful spells, you pick subclass based on what is the most mechanically sound, you pick...
I mean, you pick everything to that point, and there isn't as much to do that with marshals.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're not power gaming, and you're not really, really obsessed with, like, the statistics and the mechanics and everything, like, down to the letter and down to the wire, it's not necessary, and they're actually pretty okay.
Yeah. I think,
I've played plenty of marshals, and I have never felt massively outclassed by a caster. Ever.
No, and I think a lot of this comes from, I've never felt outclassed or useless in a party.
Yes, regardless of class.
Even, I've played characters that have 3 stats below 10.
Yeah.
That have had all these things against them, but fundamentally, I've never felt really outclassed because of our playstyle, I guess. And if you feel... If you need to do something to make your table more fair between marshals and casters, by all means. But it's just, we've never experienced marshals and casters being unbalanced.
Yeah. Certainly not significantly so.
No.
They do different things in different styles of combat.
Additionally, beer and pretzels magic should not be the expected experience.
I 100% agree with this. Obviously, I vaguely agree with all of your takes. More people want to get into this than don't. Even if they're not all getting into it the same way, even if not everyone is expecting really heavy roleplay, if a lot of people are expecting intense dungeon delves or a lot of combats, way more people are interested in heavy something than heavy nothing.
Yeah, so I think this comes from an idea of typically a group of guys who started playing in high school, have kept playing since then, have gone from like Mountain Dew and chips to beer and pretzels, is where the name comes from. It's a casual, laid-back game where people are just like doing random stuff, doing funny stuff.
Yeah.
That's not what most D&D is anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, I really don't think it is anymore. And maybe that's just, like, our circles, but I think the vast majority of people, like I said, they want to do something. Even if it's not the same thing, even if it's not always heavy roleplay, even if it's not always heavy combat, most people want to get invested in something with their game. They want to go deeper into it and enjoy it than just goofing around with beer and pretzels.
You know, a war gamer who wants to take a super serious combat approach also isn't cool with the table feel of just like this casual, haha, good time. In the same way that someone who's heavily into roleplay isn't.
Yeah. Those people have plenty of things that make them different, but both of them are equally interested in their game experience.
And there's nothing wrong with the beer and pretzel style. I think that it has fallen a lot out of favor.
But that's the point. You know, there's nothing wrong with really any of this stuff. Just, that shouldn't be what people expect all the time anymore, and it shouldn't really be what people tell you to expect anymore.
There are several groups that have done goofy, wacky stuff and still will do goofy, wacky stuff. The problem is, you'll get into the D&D YouTube space specifically, and a lot of people that I say this, I like a lot. A lot of people that say this actually appear in our top 10 list later this week.
Yep.
Who are like, the advice is typically one coming from Critical Role.
Yeah.
To expect less like Critical Role and more like a beer and pretzels, a casual, kind of funny, jokey, lighthearted D&D
I don't
experience.
think that's true.
No,
I don't think you should expect the standards and intensity and, like, skill of Critical Role, but I think you can have just as an interesting and invested game as Critical Role, even if you're not playing it to the same high-level standard.
You can say, hey, the game I'm looking for is like Critical Role in tone and in play style.
But I'm not expecting my DM to be Matt Mercer,
It's toxic to say, you know, I need my DM to be as good as Matt Mercer. It's not toxic to be,
I would like a heavy roleplay game with a lot of character investment. Yeah. That's fine, you can say that. That's fine.
Vice versa with a heavy, like, tactical war game.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to run D&D like it's Warhammer 40k, go for it.
If you want to run Warhammer 40k, go for it. You know, that's not a problem. You can do that.
I think it's harmful to tell players getting into the hobby that
you have to take it chill.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of people nowadays are getting into the hobby because they want to be invested in it.
That, like, I know what you see on Critical Role is up there. That's not what you should expect with tone. Everything's going to be jokey and lighthearted. Like, there are funny moments in a lot of things.
Yeah.
There are funny moments in Critical Role. But,
there's a lot, yeah.
I think that it does more harm than good to tell people, hey,
don't expect this to be intense.
Yeah,
don't expect to have an emotional experience or an intense combat experience or any kind of intense experience out of this. You should never expect that. You should always plan for something to be jokey and boring.
It's actually why I quit D&D for a number of years. Because of that kind of expectation.
It's just, it would absolutely ruin my experience if that had been 100% what I had been exposed to early. I don't think I would have kept playing if my high school D&D group hadn't at least tried to get me invested in things.
Yeah. After a point in college, the only games I could find were this style, and I quit playing D&D for a number of years.
Yeah.
It's when I learned to play Burning Wheel and play other systems.
Because you could get more of that experience out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it your turn to say this one? I don't remember.
Basing a character off a podcast or show character is not cringe and actually fine in the right scenario.
In the right scenario. If everyone at your table is comfortable with it. It's not cringe. Sometimes it's not acceptable because no one else wants to do it. But that doesn't make it lame or bad or embarrassing.
No.
I have played as characters from not just things like Critical Role, not even just actual plays. I've played characters heavily based off of characters that I've seen in totally different stuff that isn't even D&D based at all.
I was DMing a Curse of Strahd game for you.
Yeah.
Where it was heavily hinted at that Reyna was like the Doctor, or Van Richten.
Yeah, her name is Reyna in my brain.
We talk about that way earlier on the channel.
Yeah,
but that
she's trans.
That Van Richten was, like, heavily implied to be the Doctor Who Doctor.
Yeah. Just because. Like, there was no reason for it. It was interesting and fun, and we did it anyway, yeah, and it was awesome.
And because the wagon being a TARDIS kind of makes sense.
Yes. In the way we do that, yeah. Yeah, no. Do anything you want as long as your table is okay with it. Base characters off of anything you want. For all I care, you could play a Critical Role character. In fact, I have done that before.
Yeah,
Look at the Molly Mock in our home game video, and also look at the one that... Is it this week that we're putting up the one about Jester? Yeah. Look forward to our Jester story on Sunday.
It's... Like, fundamentally, it's just... It's fine. If your group is fine with it...
It's fine. Who cares? If your group doesn't care, nobody should care. It's not anyone else's business if your group enjoys it.
Yeah, I've heard a story before where it was kind of implicit that, like, it was cringe on assumption that someone is playing...
A character connected to anything like that, yeah.
Someone played a character that's clearly meant to be, like, Keyleth and Vax's daughter.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's fine.
And, of course, the person...
It's fun.
Doing this was also a teenage girl, but we'll get into why people don't like teenage girls later.
People are dumb and lame, and everyone likes to hate what teenage girls like, and that's stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not cringe if your group is fine with it.
Yeah.
And it can be a good way to get people into things, you know?
Yeah.
Especially getting them into the hobby. If someone gets in through Critical Legend of Vox Machina, if you're like... Do you want to play a character like Percy?
Do you want to play a character Percy? Connected to these things? Yeah. You can do whatever.
Yeah, I've heard of games that people have had where they've played, like... I mean, even right now, for example, Campaign 3 of Critical Role is basically a fan game for Campaign 1 of Critical Role in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like a lot of those characters have strong connections to the original Vox Machina characters.
Yeah, and I've heard of
another.
Home games where people have, like, had a party of, like, the Derolo siblings.
Oh, that's so fun.
Like the Derolo kids under Vex and Percy.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
I would love that. Oh my god. That's adorable.
Anyway.
I would love to DM for that, or play in that. That's so fun. We have to do that sometime now.
Yeah,
I demand it.
I don't think that that's cringe at all or bad at all, and I think if your party's fine with it, don't force it on your party, but I think if your group is fine with it, that's awesome.
Go ahead. Yeah. D&D hacks are way, way, way more annoying than they are funny or cool.
Yeah,
I hate them so much, and I will punish them. And the problem with them that I have is, now if I see someone multi-classing or starting to lean toward one of those builds, I'm like, okay, you need to either not do that, or you need to give me a good reason to explain why you're doing that isn't just to power game.
Yeah, like, the big thing I see right now is I will always be suspicious of someone multi-classing Sorcerer or Warlock.
Yeah. No one should have to worry constantly that their game is about to get broken. Like, unless that's the entire point of your game, and I really don't understand why it would be, because at that point, what are you getting out of the experience? Like, if it's not even intense to kill monsters, why are you playing with, like, high skill characters? Like, at some point, it becomes not even fun to power game because you're just steamrolling everything. Like, what do you obtain out of that experience to just... And maybe that's my playstyle. I don't think I would enjoy hitting stuff for 4 hours a week anyway. But It doesn't seem fun to me, and they're really annoying, and if you have to plan around them when you don't want to, it just sucks.
Yeah, and if what's fun for you is derailing the game, you need to understand that you're having fun at other people's expense, and it's not...
Especially if you're the only person doing it and or your DM isn't comfortable with it.
Yes.
You are probably ruining the experience for everyone if you were the one doing that and no one else is doing it.
And it kind of goes at the same extent of, like, murder hobos ruin it by breaking important quests by killing people.
Yeah.
I think that parties that, like, decide that, like, oh, we're gonna, start, like, a bank or chicken farm.
Yeah.
Just to, like, fuck with the DM.
Yeah. I don't think you should be fucking with the DM.
No. But especially things like Coffee Lock, things like the Peasant Railgun.
Yeah. Most of these things don't even mechanically make sense and you can still punish people for it. But you shouldn't have to plan around punishing someone in your game just to make them stop doing something that they shouldn't really be doing in the first place. It's dumb.
Yeah,
They're annoying, and I would never play with someone who did them. I would immediately stop playing with someone if they lean toward that.
Yeah. I would at least talk to them because it doesn't... Like, who is this benefiting?
Yeah.
You know, and there's a difference between doing something kind of artful with this. I talk a lot about the time that I DM'd for someone who was very secretly playing Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Where the entire joke came out in the epilogue of the game.
Yeah.
That's fine. But, like, suddenly deciding to derail the game or play a weird combination race stat that creates this broken mess.
Yeah.
It's not fun, and it's not...
It's not. For the vast majority of people, you will be ruining their experience.
Go, like, glitch hunt in a video game if that's...
Yeah, seriously. Go do speedruns or something.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But you're not supposed to speedrun D&D. You're not supposed to speedrun TTRPGs in general.
No. Roleplay decisions that are mechanically bad are actually sometimes the best roleplay choices.
Sometimes. Not all the time. And again, you have to be comfortable. Your table has to be okay with this. We did a game once where it was a life or death scenario for a character, and the person whose turn it was, who could have done something to save that character, made a terrible, terrible decision, mechanically, that was absolutely 100% in character, and it was awesome.
Yes, this is someone who
could
have...
it basically did kill her character. We found a way to get it back. But man, everyone was fine with it. You know, you and me, we were fine with that going the way it did. Everyone involved was fine with that going the way it did. But that's because we trust each other. But also, it was awesome. It was such a narrative-defining moment for that character.
The table was 100% all cool with that.
Yeah. And it was even, I think it was even a little discussed in the moment, like, is it okay if I do something that is really in character but, like, could fuck you over? And everyone was like, yeah, sure, go for it.
I was playing this character, and I was playing, this character was alcoholic, is the big thing about them.
Yeah. This character is also based off something, and it's not cringe.
Yeah.
Call back to that one. It's fun.
And I discussed beforehand when I'm like, okay, so it's my turn. I will do something else if you guys want. But what makes the most sense narrative here is to just, like, break.
Yeah. To basically just, in the stress of all of this, in the intensity of losing someone that character really cared about, just sit down and start drinking. Basically, is what happened.
Yeah.
And he did.
And, to clarify, like, the enemy that killed the person was escaping at the time, so it wasn't like, suicide, I'm gonna sit down here and die. But this character could have stopped the person from escaping, could have potentially done something for the person that was dying, but just slumped down and drank.
Yeah.
Which, we discussed that as a table beforehand, if that was okay.
And it was. And that is, in fairness, an intense example.
Yes.
Most of those decisions are not going to be life or death for someone else's character. But that's a really strong example of, if you trust your table, you can make a decision that bad, and it can still be the best narrative choice.
To poke Critical Role, Caleb freaking out at the first sight of his own fire spell is a good example as well.
There are really good roleplay decisions that are really bad logically. And we have another one. You can talk about Cariel if you want.
We talked about this a little bit before, but I've had a character willingly turn herself into a vampire, let herself be turned into a vampire by Strahd willingly 100%.
Which is obviously a terrible decision.
Why would you ever do that? Horrible choice, but it's the most in-character choice for her.
Yes, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was DMing that, and it was awesome. It was narratively fascinating, even if it was mechanically damaging to her character.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We've both had characters in the past that have been exposed to something that terrifies or hurt them in the past.
Yeah.
And we've rolled wisdom saves to see if they can even take an action.
Yeah. And sometimes they can't, and that's cool and fun.
And that's one of the few times that I think a player calling for a roll is valid.
Yeah. Basically saying, hey, I don't know if my character would necessarily 100% be able to handle this. I'm going to roll to basically see if this character in this moment can have the mental fortitude to deal with this problem appropriately.
That's a terrible decision, but it makes sense.
It makes sense. And if you're into roleplay, really at all, you should be considering that at times.
Yes. Maybe not every encounter goes like that, but...
No. But if you have a really defining moment for your character, and it might be mechanically bad to define that moment, it's still fine.
Should we talk about the last one?
Yeah, let's do it.
5e is, at present moment, the best game on the market.
I honestly feel like that's kind of a given, even though a lot of people would argue with it. It is the easiest to find a game with, it's great for beginners because it's easy to find a game with, and it's not that complicated to understand. Like, there are definitely games that are easier to understand, and depending on what you want to get someone into, there are better games for them. But at an absolute base level, if someone walked up to me and said, I want to play a TTRPG, what should I play? I'm going to tell them 5e unless they give me other specifics.
Yeah. Like...
And if someone says, I want to play a really high crunch, high combat game, I'd be like, okay, go to, like, Warhammer or something.
If someone's like, I want to play superheroes, check out Masks or something like that.
Yeah, or what was the other one you said?
Mutants and Masterminds.
Yeah.
Or even Fate has a variant.
Yeah.
But it has the most mass appeal.
Yes.
It's the easiest to find a game for. If someone's like, I'm new to tabletop RPGs, where should I start? This is 100% where you should start. 5e is where you should start.
Because it's easy to get into and easy to find groups for, and easy to find someone who is willing to adapt to you and your newbiness comparatively to a game where most people are veteran players and won't tolerate someone who's still learning TTRPGs in general.
Yeah, I mean, you could go from there for sure. And I think, D&D is not my favorite game on the market. Yeah. But I think it's the best one.
You absolutely love a lot of other TTRPGs, but especially, 5e is not your favorite.
Yeah. There are, if someone's into RPGs, Burning Wheel is my favorite RPG.
But I don't think you would basically ever tell someone to start with Burning Wheel.
There are about 50 RPGs I'd recommend starting with before I get to Burning Wheel.
Yeah.
And you have to be a very specific type of person to want to start with Burning Wheel.
Yeah. I started with 5e. I don't think I would have continued with the hobby if I started with anything else.
I started with 3.5, but apples to oranges.
Yeah. I mean, you started with 3.5 because you're older than me.
Yeah.
I didn't start playing until 5e was already out. But yeah, it's the most popular game, and it is fundamentally the best game for most people. Not everyone, but most people. And that kind of by default makes it the best game.
Mild hot take as someone who started with 3.5, 5e is better than 3.5, but...
Yeah.
Not just your little bonus hot take.
And you would know, because you played both.
I would.
Alright, those are our hot takes.
If you don't agree with us...
Too bad.
Let us know in the comments. Let us know your own hot takes. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us.
Please be civil about it, though.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. This is just meant to be kind of a silly little video. These opinions don't matter, really.
Yeah, and if you're a totally different person from all of these vibes, that's still fine. If you don't really fuck with any of these opinions, if you don't go here, that's fine.
And let us know your own in the comments. We actually are doing something interesting next week, which is we are looking at other people's hot takes.
Yeah. So give us some hot takes to look at.
Yeah. We will be looking at other people's stuff going forward.
Yep.
I think we're looking at other people's homebrew, other people's hot takes.
So feel free to submit a bunch of different stuff to us at different times on different videos.
We would love
to check it all out.
Review your community hot takes. Once again, we are road to 100 subscribers. We're at 98 as of recording.
Yes. Come on, get us there, and maybe even get us farther. That would be awesome.
Thank you so much. Happy nearly December.
I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.